It's time for the Ella Johnson Show. Thanks for tuning in to the Ella Johnson Show, where there are two sides to every story. Enjoy the broadcast. Stay tuned. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ella Johnson Show. We meet here again. Well, I am so excited, especially for those of you that are newcomers to the Ella Johnson Show. Welcome to all of you. If you're watching from Facebook, do me a favor. I need you guys to like the broadcast. I need you to share the broadcast. I need you to get involved in the broadcast. I want you to type your questions, type people's names in there that you want to watch or you think should watch this broadcast. But I want to welcome you. If you're watching from YouTube, thank you. And if you're watching through my channel, since you're already there, just go ahead and subscribe. Telling you that way you will never miss another Ella Johnson Show. So I just want to welcome you guys. As you can tell, I have some beautiful women here with me tonight that's going to help me unpack this. Y'all know I can't just do it by myself, but I have some wonderful women that have agreed to be here tonight, so we can continue to talk about Tunstall. So say hello to everyone, ladies.
Hello. Well, you know what? Let me let Freda go first.
Yes, you go first, Freda. Say hello to everybody.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here. Hello.
Well, good.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you to Miss Ella Johnson, Ella Johnson Show. Nice to meet you, Miss Stephanie Simpson. I'm just glad to be here, just to share my perspective.
That's right. Awesome.
You as well. It's really nice to have you on, and I look forward to our conversation tonight. And thank you all viewers for staying with us as we continue to keep Tunstall's incident at the forefront and make sure that we are advocating for justice on this.
Absolutely. Well, listen, guys, tonight I want to ask you one question. If this were your son, would you still be waiting for answers? Now, months after the death of Ammarin Tunstall, people are still asking questions. Questions about transparency, questions about accountability, questions about who's handling the case and why there continues to be so much confusion. You would think in Monroeville, it's such a small place, right? This should have been easy, over with. It's right there. We have what we see as evidence, and really that kind of wraps it up. But obviously we have to go through the channels. But tonight isn't just about T. I know. It's about every citizen who expects honesty from government. That is a reasonable service from them that they should just give you. Now, it's about whether our elected officials and public servants are living up to the oath they took. I'm not going to figure that out. You guys ask that question. What do you think? It's about whether the people of Monroe County are receiving the transparency and the accountability that they deserve. Like real talk. We talked a lot about that last week. Now, if one tragedy can expose deeper concerns within a community, then perhaps this moment should inspire all of us to ask harder questions, not only about the case, but about the systems we rely on every single day. Now, tonight, you'll hear from a woman who was so moved by T's story that she wrote a song. Yes, a song. T song is what we call it. In his honor, you'll also hear from my returning guest, Stephanie, of course, as we continue this important conversation. Now, I want y'all to understand something. This is your show. It's not just mine. I know my name's on the title, but this is our show. Your community, your voice matters. So that's why I want you to share this broadcast. Invite others to join us, and let's have a respectful conversation focused on truth, accountability, and the pursuit of justice. Let's not forget that that's really what it's all about, right? So I want to introduce our guest tonight, because she has been on the Ella Johnson show. It's been some time, Freda. It's been a long time since I've seen you, but I'm so glad that she's here tonight. So our next guest is
Yes.
someone whose story is one of resilience, faith, and purpose. She's going to tell us a little bit about it tonight. Now, Freda has dedicated her life to serving others through leadership in production. We're going to see a little bit of that tonight: music, fundraising, administration, and financial stewardship. But I want y'all to remember something. Beyond her professional accomplishments, the true foundation of her life is prayer, meditation, and God's word. Okay? Maybe we should get her to start our show with prayer tonight, Stephanie. Like so many people, Freda has faced seasons of loss, disappointment, and rebuilding. We've all been there, right? So many people have been there. You're probably watching the broadcast tonight. Yet she refuses to let those experiences define her. Instead, she has allowed God to transform her pain into purpose. Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, her message is one, honestly, guys, that all of us need to hear. Losing a title does not mean losing your worth. Trauma does not erase your purpose. And starting over does not mean starting from nothing, right? She believes that what God put in you is for you. What God has for you is for you. She believes that what tries to break a person can become the very thing God uses to rebuild them. And she is living proof of that. You know, she had to rebuild her life. And you'll hear a little bit about that after watching the heartbreaking video of T, right? That's what brought her here tonight. When she saw him being dragged, she was so moved that she wrote and dedicated a song in his honor. So I want to make sure you guys stick around for that. She'll share why his story touched her heart so much, the message behind her music, and why she believes we all have a role to play in seeking justice and healing. So welcome, welcome, welcome to the Ella Johnson Show again, Miss Freda.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Right. It has been a long time. Have to come back more often. But yeah, when I first heard about it and saw it was through you, through your show. So I just want to thank you for sticking to it, stick it to itness and being a great activist and humanitarian. But when I saw him being dragged, I have three sons, a 28-year-old, 26-year-old, a 10-year-old, and I have two brothers. Um, and it just reminded me like, wow. I mean, and me as a former police officer, police sergeant was the last title I held. Um, but I just don't see any scenario, any reason why as an officer I would drag anybody for any reason. That's not the way I was trained. I'm in Georgia, Columbus, Georgia, trained at the Fulton County Police Academy. But at the minimum, they could have had four officers, one on each limb. There was no reason. At the minimum, they could have just left them. There was no immediate threat, no extinguished circumstances that would cause them to have to remove him like he was getting dragged out of a burning building somewhere. He was being dragged down the street. There was no sense in that, and that just moved me. And
So what I want to
I
do right
started
here,
following.
Freda, yeah, what I want to do right here, Freda, is I want to make sure, I don't want to leave it just to think that everybody has seen the video. So we're going to show it real quick. It's a very short 29-second video so that we can get your take on all of it so that it's fresh in your mind. So those of you that are tuned in and you've seen it, just give me 30 seconds. But you never know. There may be people watching tonight who have not seen this video. Okay. So I want to pick it apart. Let's start from the fact that they chased him. Let's talk about what we didn't see in the video. Apparently, they chased him, and this is where the chase ended up. There was some woods behind those apartments that you saw there, duplexes, and they were bringing him from back there. Now, I want to pick your brain because you were a police sergeant, and I really want to know. Okay, when what is the proper way for tasing? What is the reason you tase, and when should you stop? I want to know that first.
Okay. First, we have to announce it. Hey, if you don't stop, you keep going, we're going to tase you. If you're being uncompliant, non-compliant, I'm going to tase you. We say taser, taser, taser at least 3 times. But the way we were trained is we don't tase somebody who's running away because they could fall, have a serious neck injury, which could paralyze them, let alone cause them to lose their life. Um, the only way we tase if they're going towards something, if they're a fleeing felon or they're going towards something that could cause danger in the location they're going to. Like if I had a fleeing felon running into a school full of children, I would probably and a threat, a knife or something, and coming towards me with it, I would tase them then as a way to incapacitate them. What is I'm trying to stop their movement. Because the tase just freezes up all your nerves, so you really can't do anything. Um, but I haven't seen the tasing footage, so I really don't know why they would tase him. Did he have anything on him? What threat could he be? Um, Now, there have been times, I don't know the toxicology report, but there is an incident that I specifically remember another agency calling asking for our assistance due to a gentleman who was high on drugs. And I literally seen him just throwing officers off of him. He was literally just throwing officers off of him. So at that moment, that was a time where I tased this subject just to get some type of stabilization going. But
So,
in this situation,
mhm. So in this situation, let's say because we don't have the footage, but what we have heard is that he was yelling for help. Now, if he didn't have prongs, and there's only two ways that you can be tased. You can either be tased and the prongs are stuck in your body, or it can be dry on the skin.
right,
What exactly
right.
would cause someone to put a taser skin to their skin and hit the make and power it up? What would make an officer do that? Give me a scenario where that's acceptable.
It's very few scenarios where I can think of it that's acceptable. In my 13 years, I think I can only recall seeing that being done once. The dry tase is what we call a skin contact. That would be when, say, for instance, control over the subject, and we've given several chances. There are no other units or bodies available to come help us, and we're just trying to get the subject to comply. We know we have to detain this subject. We know this subject is going to be in custody. This subject is going to jail. So a dry tase would be used at that point just to get them in handcuffs. After a subject is in handcuffs, there's no need for a taser or anything else like that. Um, so that's the only scenario I could think of. But if he's hollering and screaming for help, um, and we're not hearing anybody else saying stop resisting, but then saying stop resistance is another tactic that officers use just so they can say that someone was actively resisting. They'll just say stop resisting just to cover themselves. I've personally seen that happen. Um, but that's the only way I can think of from my
So
experience as
rarely,
to why they
so in
would
other
drive.
words, rarely, Ella, would you have to be tased dry on your skin. I want you to explain to the viewers what is happening to a person's body when they're being tased directly to their skin.
Oh, it's horrible. We, in order to carry a taser in Georgia, we have to be tased. And I
Oh,
got tased with the prongs and uh, dry stump, and it literally I can't, it freeze, it locks. You cannot do anything. They literally tell you to use the bathroom before they tase you because you lose all control. And there's videos on. I've seen some videos on YouTube. I don't know if they're still there where officers are getting tased, and you can clearly see what happened. If you literally cannot do nothing, you can't stand. All you do is drop. So when we are getting tased in the academy, in order to carry the tape, they always have officers on each side of our arms just to keep us held up.
what is
Because
it doing to your insides though? Like, is it
you
burning?
just lose all control of your body. That you just, and then it's a trip because after all, is it burning? It wasn't. I didn't feel a burning sensation. Different people experience different things. For me, it's just loss of control, and then once they release it, you literally feel exhausted, like you done ran a marathon. Uh, you just feel exhausted. You just want to lay there. Um, but for some people who may have taken drugs when they're tased, I've seen them pull it off of them, and we've been being amazing. They still take off running, so it exuberates some people. But in most cases, you're exhausted. All your nerves up, and once they let go, you're exhausted. It's not a good feeling. It is not a
Can
good
you have a
feeling.
heart attack from getting
Most
tased?
people, when I was an officer, I was saying on taste, they'll take off running. Yes, you can. And we're not supposed to tase anyone who we know to be pregnant, who's known to be a senior minor, or
I
be proven that the officers know all of this. Then no, we are not allowed to tase them.
I missed
Yeah.
that. I want you to repeat that because you were in and out. There was a connection there. You said that people that dry tase. What was that comment
Okay.
you just made?
As far as tasing people, if we know that they have a medical issue or they're prone
Okay.
to have seizures or heart attacks, if we know there's a medical issue, or if we know the person is pregnant, or the person is a minor, or the person is elderly, then no, we are not allowed to tase that individual at all, uh,
So
for any
I want you
reason.
to go back to the video that we just saw. And let's say that because it's alleged that he was tased repeatedly and that he has a lot of taser burns on his body. That's alleged. Does he display someone who may have been tased repeatedly in that video? No.
Okay, I'm just wondering. Just okay. I think
Yeah,
she's
she's freezing up. Bad connection.
Okay, I'm back now.
Okay.
Oh,
Did you hear my question?
sorry.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Does he like someone who has been tased? Well, he looked exhausted. But my thing is, after we tase somebody, we're not supposed to move them until EMTs come to check them out, and they remove the prongs out of them. Or if it was a direct hit, how we're trained is, hey, we have an individual, we have tased, or we have paper sprayed, or we have used a baton on, and we need an EMT, a medic to come out. That's automatic. So I don't see what would be the rush to move him. And then what I did notice for the first time when after watching him, we could have easily got behind him and at least carried his legs up so his knees wouldn't be dragging on the pavement at the minimum. But yeah, if they had tased him and then dragged him, I don't see the reason. Was he somewhere unsafe for all of them? Why couldn't they just, after tasing him, leave him there and wait for a man unit to come and say he's clear to be moved? Because when we tase somebody, we do not move them. We don't know their medical history. We say, hey, we have tased the individual. We tell them to stay down after we put the cuffs on them, and we wait for a med unit.
So let me ask you a question. So moving someone who has been tased, could that have caused them to pass away quicker?
It could. I'm not a medical expert, but it could. I know of cases. East Point, Georgia, I think recently had one where someone was tased and had a heart attack right after and passed away.
So
They didn't. Probably moving them probably could. That's probably why they put it in. That's probably why they put it in the standard operating procedures when using the taser, not to move or touch an individual after tasing, because we don't know any medical issues and have a medic do it. I mean, unless they were officers who, because there are some officers who are also medics, who I've worked with. They're firefighters and law enforcement officers. I don't know the totality of the circumstances, but to move someone after being tased is something I would not do. And as a sergeant who had 5 officers under me, none of my officers would do it. That'll be a huge consequences behind that. We would not, unless there's an immediate threat somewhere. Like the way they was dragging me, the only thing that came to my mind was, were they dragging him out of a burning building? If not, then there was no reason I could think of to be dragged.
Absolutely.
right. So
For
Freda,
any reason. What's the emergency? Just any human anywhere unless they're being dragged out of a burning building. It's the only thing I can think of.
Freda, do me a favor, because your conversation is so important. I do not want to miss any of it. Can you go out and come back in to see if the connection is stronger? And Stephanie and I'll just kind of talk a little bit while you do that. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So Stephanie, what did you think of what she's saying here?
I have so many questions when she comes back on. I would like some elaboration on, because it really seems that they were kind of acting on their own accord. I mean, it seems like if they did have protocols in place, those kind of went out the window. And I can't remember the length of time that everyone had been on the force that was involved in this incident, but it still has to be some type of environment where they feel they're comfortable making those decisions, how they want to make them. And again, in broad daylight, in the Black community. Like, this wasn't like a random stop on the side of the street. Like, you are in Clausville, you are in a known 95, maybe 99% Black community. And so that people don't get it misconstrued, Clausville still has it is still a really nice community. It is a beautiful community. And this is from someone who played there countless times as a child that I still go back to right now. And so the actions that they portrayed, again, it's just hearing her statements, Freda's statements, and her personal intake on being a police officer, it makes those actions even more disturbing.
When she talked about the tasing and how it's not common to tase on dry skin. Now, obviously, we're talking.
I noted that because I want to go and research that. I would like to know in Alabama, what are the cases of incidents in which police officers are tased? And I want to ask her, what is the write-up process when an officer has to use their taser? How do they note it? How do they report it? Is the taser gun then checked to actually verify that is what they said? Do they have random checks where you just go in and check police officers' tasers just to see, hey, has it been used and you didn't report it? I don't know,
So here's another thing too. Like, she's talking about how it's not normally used. It's not normally used. And then you're not supposed to move them after you use it.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask her about that too, because I did see that when the prongs are dispersed, you have the cords going, and because they kind of get embedded into your skin. I just want to ask her, in her, unit where she worked, even if they were dry tased, the drive stun mode, I guess, was it still practice to have them checked out? I would say yes. If it was my force and if I was in charge, my protocols, I would definitely still have them checked out. Unless, like she said, it's some type of immediate danger where, lives are at risk.
Okay, we have some questions for you. Welcome back, Freda.
Mhm.
So go ahead with your question, Stephanie.
Oh, where are we going to start? Oh, where do I want to start? Okay, I want to ask you first, when it comes to the tasing and as far as the precinct where you worked, was it policy for, or what is the policy that they utilized when you had to tase someone? Like, how did the write-up go? Did they verify it, via that person's taser? How was that done?
That's a very good question. Actually, the tasers we had when I was in law enforcement had cameras with them, and
Mm,
before each shift, you had to remove the cartridge, turn the taser on to make sure that the camera and everything was working. We did evaluations once every 3 months,
mm-hmm,
and so I had to review all the footage because once that taser is on for more than 10 seconds, it automatically send a notification to the uh, it's a software system we use that the
mm,
taser has been on for more than 10 seconds. And so once we get that notification, I know to review the camera footage with that taser. Also, the taser, once you deploy the cartridge, little dots come out that have little serial numbers on. You have to pick up those little dots um, and put them in a bag and put it into evidence, and they send them back to taser to the unit to the company that taser come from. With those unit little dots, they can tell the distance, how far, um, everything that needs to be known about that taser during the deployment of that particular cartridge. Each officer got issued two cartridges, and each one of that serial that particular taser. So I've heard this. That's something I've heard, and another officer has told me. I don't know if that's true, but I heard that a lot of them are getting in trouble with the taser, so they took the cameras off. And some police departments
oh
don't
wow,
have. I heard APD, Atlanta don't even allow their officers to use tasers anymore because there's so many lawsuits behind it. As far as the write-up process, I start off with a. It depends on the severity of the incidents. If because there's been times where officers have taken their taser out to scare somebody, or and they never deployed it, or they at home with their family. Like, why am I seeing this on your taser cam? So it just be a verbal warning. But if
yeah,
they've used it inappropriately, I just follow um, the
Uh,
use of force. We have to fill out every that, and so it's very extensive. Then we do the interview, we look at all the footage, then I send it up the chain of command. Uh, that's normally how it's done. I haven't particularly personally been involved with one where it caused any serious injury. The most somebody had to go to a hospital, but they came out and we took them to the jail, and that was it. But in this situation, a use of force report should have been done. My
mm-hmm,
concern is him being dragged, moved. Um,
yes.
yeah,
Well,
yeah. I know
let me
some.
I asked that because if you go back to that statement that was released by their police chief, her words was that he was taken into custody without incident. And so, in your experience, if somebody says without incident, like, would any of this have taken place and still be described as that? I don't know if she's
frozen.
got it. Mm. Yeah,
Okay.
already shared so much that I
I
have just
know. I mean, I just cannot have you not be able to talk tonight. Your internet is Okay, let me ask you a question, Frida. I hate doing this on
It's still
live.
going.
Your
Mhm.
internet, are you off
Mm.
doing Wi-Fi or are you using your intranet? Are you using a Wi-Fi? In other words, do you have a cord into your laptop or something so we can get stronger in that? Because you're freezing up, but your conversation is
Out
so,
or
so
move.
very important for us tonight. She's frozen up. Yeah, she's
I
frozen.
can try to move rooms.
Okay.
Yeah, do that, and then we're gonna chat because it's if every other word is breaking up, and it's hard for us to be able to really communicate. So just try that, and then come back. Okay, we'll be here. We're not going anywhere. We're waiting on you because we want to make sure we have a strong internet connection. Okay. All right. So I want to take this comment that we had. A young man, Lucky, says that they recently beat me up and had the nerve to ask me, did I want to get tased? MPD are crooked and too aggressive. They
Mhm.
are supposed to take sensitivity training. They only have shown the opposite. I assured them I sued them and won years back and have PTSD, and they had no consideration for that when I was stopped for a traffic violation and ended up getting my window busted. I know that we're going to be telling his story at some point, um, because you know we just want to make. But let's go back to what she was saying, because I think those questions were very good that you were asking her, Stephanie, about the tasing. Then we know too that when they put him in the car face down, allegedly, that could have sped up his death as well.
Yeah, and I really want to know if their department, like I asked earlier, even on the dry tase, if it was theirs to like to call an ambulance. I know in Alabama,
And I
like,
knew
what
that
I've seen is
because
they don't have to. That's another
yeah,
thing, the officer's discretion. And I don't think because they're not, she said they are not medical experts. So why would you allow that to them to make that type of call themselves?
absolutely,
So that
yeah,
kind of circles back to, do we need to rewrite some protocols? Do we need to get the people in there that's going to really address things like this and actually see it through?
well, here's the thing too, Stephanie, we don't know what their policy is. It
And
may
that's
already be in there. And the reason I think it's in there is because their policies have to mirror what APOST says. They are the entity that says what it should be with cops. Like, you need to go through our training, and this is how you need to act moving forward. So in their training, you're supposed to do and get immediate help. And whenever you taste it, they even say that. So if they say that, I know MPD policy says that. So if they broke their own policy and didn't write an incident report, because that is an incident,
yeah,
tasing is an incident. All right, let's
and
see if we can't get
that
her
is
back.
definitely an
Okay.
incident.
All right, let's see here if this works.
Hey, can
All
you
right,
hear me?
Oh
we
yeah.
can hear you.
Okay. Hopefully it's from, I'm in my mom's office, so hopefully this works better. But
I think it
um,
is.
she said without incident.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that I find that I don't want to say the wrong thing, but
Do we have that statement, Ella?
Um, yeah, you guys talk. I'll go and try to find it. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, I
just to
find
kind of reread what she wrote. Because it does definitely, from her statement, and this is what made me question, have those questions in regards to the taser, him being dragged, possibly pepper sprayed. Like, she literally said without incident. So to me, and from the definition that I've seen, that means that you had no issues whatsoever. You were able to. I'm surprised at the fact that they
yeah.
claim that he ran, that she would still describe it as without incident. But yeah, I'm gonna let you look that in
Here's the
and kind of.
statement right here. Let's start at the top. They
You may
received
want
a
to take
call.
that picture off temporarily,
Yeah,
Ella.
let's get that picture out of the way.
Okay.
It's a beautiful picture, guys, but we
Yes, it is. So definitely bring it back. I do love it.
okay, all right. Here we go. Okay. So here's the statement. let's take that apart. She says in there, um, they talk about he had warrants and they pursued him and they saw him walking and the officers made contact with him. He took off running, blah, 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 blah. Now, when we get down to the part where it says, other officers responded to the area, and a short time later, Mr. Tunstall was located, taken into custody without incident. He was talking with officers and alert, but refused to walk. So this is the narrative that's going all over Facebook. And Monroe Journal, just so you'll know, we know that you kind of use Tri-City Ledger to put your stuff out there, but that's later. We're going to talk about that. But anyway, so she's saying without incident. Is getting tased an incident?
Yes, it's an incident. The whole thing is incident. In here, it says he was located and taken into custody without incident. Mr. Tunstall was talking with officers and alert, but refused to walk. That was not uncommon behavior for Mr. Tunstall. Now, we have subjects that we deal with that we know that use uncommon behavior, but they won't walk. Then we automatically deploy more than one or two officers. If you know this beforehand, you're saying it wasn't uncommon for him to do this. And some people, I've had incidents where some people just they'll just stop. We never have dragged them. If 4 officers, we all get a limb and we put them in the car. But any type of, there's a curriculum standard of use of force. The first use of force alone is officer presence. After that, the engagement, putting hands on. That's all of that is considered an incident. To say without incident is the part I'm having a problem with. I'm like, okay, did you review the video footage? Did you review the police reports? And then they said while he was being escorted to the patrol vehicle, I would not consider that to be an escort. That's not a proper way to escort anybody. Who would you want to be escorted that way? No, we had two officers drag Mr. Tunstall and put him in the vehicle due to his willingness to walk properly. I would not put it in there that he was escorted. As I'm reading, as small as it is, as I'm reading, it's a lot of issues that, now I'm just a sergeant. This is the chief of police. Maybe they know something I don't know, but to me, this sounds very elaborate. Sounds like somebody's trying to cover up something with words. But
that's what I said. Play on words.
Yeah, play on words. Yes, because what you're reading, by reading this without knowing anything else, and just by reading this, you would think, okay, why would there be a need for a press release if all of this occurred without incident? Why would you even need to do this? I mean, that's how I'm just thinking logically. The words escorted, uncommon behavior, to custody without incident. None of that coincides with each other, go together with me.
Now, Freda, I want you to look at the part where he says Mr. Tunstall spoke with officers as he was being placed in the vehicle to be transported to the detention facility. Was he alert and speaking to officers?
If that's what they're saying, but there's a lot of stuff they're saying in here that is not conclusive to what we know. But they saying that he was talking to them while he was in the vehicle, but they are also saying that he was escorted. They're also saying without incident. So once I see one statement that's an inconsistent, I can no longer trust anything else that's in this press release.
Good point. Yeah. Do you have any questions, Stephanie, on this?
Absolutely. And so that's why, because as far as I know officially, the police department has never said that they tased or pepper sprayed him. This was, for witnesses in the community. And so some of those same questions that you were just stating, I have for the chief, because what did you really look at before you did this press release. And so let me ask you on that too. If you guys are going to do a press release in your previous precinct, like how much time do they really take? Do they actually take that time to review all of that footage to ensure that it's not just based on the officer's word, but they can actually back it up?
Well, I think it would be ill-advised. I think it would be a huge neglect to put something out for immediate release without viewing or interviewing or looking at the totality of the circus, everything involved with it. It would be immature. It would be a huge neglect to the agency itself, to the families, especially when there's a death involved.
Right.
It's something that you said that I wanted to answer. My brain wasn't read, it was said. But now we can't trust the documentation. It's like, when you was talking about the tasers and the pepper spray, there should be a log sheet for all of that. Just ask for that. They have to in Georgia, Georgia Post certified post officer standards and training in Georgia. I know as a sergeant, when I had officers, we had to physically sign a piece of paper that, hey, they have all their duty equipment on. They have this taser. They came on duty with it and came off duty with it. No cartridges, anything was used. So that should be easy for them to know. Just look at the log sheet from that officer that day. Were any cartridges used? Were any tasers used? Okay, where's the video footage for that taser?
So who logs that? Is that something that
was
they have to
or was not
manually?
used. If it was not used, then okay, I see the video fucking. Yeah.
So is that something they would
as
have
for
checked
the officers
anyway?
that were under me,
Okay, is that something that
was
they
that
log
something they would
themselves?
have what?
Is that
Is that
something they
something?
would have checked anyway? Like even if hypothetically they was just going off of the officer's word, and that's going to actually lead into another question. Even if you watch the body cam footage, I want to ask two. One, is it possible for those body cam footages to be manipulated by the officers themselves to try to cover something up? And then two, if she had, for whatever reason, it wasn't shown on the body cam, would she have still went and checked the taser logs, and the logs on their pepper spray, just to confirm and verify what they're saying, that it wasn't used?
It depends on the situation. For something like this, and if I know that I took someone in custody I would do an extensive research myself as a sergeant to go look at everything this officer had. But the way the camera system is set up here, it's ATSON, AXON is the camera systems that we use here. The officers cannot, the only thing they can do is turn it on and off as far as manipulation. At any time the duty weapon or the taser is drawn out of its holster, it has a sensor on the holster where the body cam automatically comes on. Now, I've seen the incident where an officer threw the body cam off of him. He literally took his body cam and threw it off of him, but he said it dropped and fell off of him. But then we could clearly see his hands go over the camera and throw it. That was inconsistent with his statement. But once at the end of the day, the camera footage and the taser is, because they have to both be charged overnight. Well, I work the night shift, so overday. So they're put in the dock in the squad room to be charged. I come in, if any body camera footage or taser footage is whatever the lieutenant set the amount of time to it. Tasers, it was normally 10 seconds. But the body cam footage, it was normally, okay, this body cam footage was on for more than a minute.
Okay.
Watch it with me,
Okay. So I want to move along because I want to make sure we kind of touch everything. So with the taser, basically what you're saying is if MPD really want to know what happened in those woods, and it was alleged that they used the taser,
they have the means to see if it was in fact used.
Yes, ma'am. Every taser that I have ever come in contact with, yes,
So
yeah,
then that leads us to the next thing. If that
there
taser
has
is
to be a
used,
way for
yeah,
accountability reasons. Did he come back with two cartridges? Hmm. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So in other words, then let's go even further because I want to. This is procedural now. You and I, Stephanie and I were talking about this earlier. If in fact Mandy knows that he was tased and tried to manipulate the public by saying there was without incident, because this she had 3 days to check and see what was going on, whether it was the body footage, whether it was the looking at the taser logs or whatever. She had ample amount of time to check and see what really happened in those woods. So if she comes to the public and says it was without incident, is there a crime committed by doing that?
Yeah, I think that's intentional, false documentation.
Okay, I you froze up there, but
Um,
I really want to
that's
hear your answer.
intentional. I would take that, move it to the county or to the state or to the Alabama State Patrol or federally. But now I got to investigate your whole police department because now I can't trust you based off of this alone. I've seen agencies where whole cases have been thrown out just on one statement that an officer has made that was inconsistent. So based on that press release alone from that chief, I could no longer trust that entire police department. Now I need the county or Alabama State or federal or the Department of Justice to come in. And based on that statement and based on the video alone, we have enough to escalate this to the next.
Escalated to whom? Es- Escalated to whom? Who do we escalate to?
Okay, that was the police department who made that statement, the police chief. So,
Right.
do y'all have the sheriff,
Yeah.
sheriff department there
Yes.
in Monroeville?
Yes.
Escalated to the county. If the county is in cahoots with your cases, Department of Justice, and have the Department of Justice come in and regulate it or close it down. The Department of Justice closed down Newark Police Department because there was so much corruption going on there up in New Jersey. The Department of Justice has come in and look at all the because we know that now that there's one incident, now we got to go back and look at all because it could be a neglect in training, it could be a neglect in operating procedures, whole police department wide. As far as me, not even as a sergeant, but as a resident, I could no longer trust my police department just by reading the inconsistencies in that statement and what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a man being dragged, but I'm seeing the word saying without incident. No.
So now, Frida, I gotta ask her this one, Stephanie. I just gotta ask. We had a police chief that came on the scene, pretty much made a post on Facebook, and basically said, in so many words, well, this is out of my jurisdiction. There's nothing I can do. I want for my viewers, because I want to hear it from you, someone in the business. I'm just a talk show host. Is there anything that the sheriff can do and intervene if it's proven that that statement was misleading on purpose? Remember, I said on purpose. Is there something the sheriff can do?
There's no other way it could not be, but that was intentionally misleading. I don't see how that police chief and the sheriff can't. The sheriff is the highest rank in the city, is he not?
That's what I said.
He's the highest ranking law enforcement officer, unless Alabama got something else going on. I don't know, but as far as I know, Atlanta, Georgia, Hateville, Georgia, East Point, Georgia, College Park, Georgia, all of those are up under Fulton County Sheriff Department. We are de facto sheriff deputies up under Fulton County Sheriff Department, working as police officers under a police department called Hateville, East Point, a college part within Fulton County. Every police department on that county works under that sheriff. The sheriff, at the minimum, got at least false documentation and can arrest the chief, as far as I know, on that alone for interfering with an investigation on that alone. So the sheriff to say he or she, whoever the sheriff has, is out of their hands jurisdiction, unless it has already gone above the sheriff, unless he means, hey, I have taken this to Alabama State, or I have taken this to Department of Justice. But for a sheriff to say it's out of my, that makes me want to talk to the sheriff, say, hey, have I lost all of my marbles? Am I wrong? But as far as I know, every police department in a county works under the authority of the sheriff of that county. The police chief of every police department in a county.
Now, I don't think that the sheriff can manage.
That's a police officer. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't think the sheriff can tell the
manage.
Yeah.
Like the police chief can't go around making laws. We run our own, the chief run their own police department cannot investigate themselves. Like, there was an incident one time where one of our investigators did something that had to be investigated. It was an internal affairs incident. We had to use an outside agency to investigate that detective because it involved another detective that works there. So we can't investigate ourselves. Now that the chief of this police department have done something, we would call in GBI, Georgia Bureau of Investigation, or in y'all case, Alabama State Investigation. I guess it would be ABI, to come in, or we would call the sheriff to come in. Like, I remember one time, one of our police officers' police vehicles hit another police vehicle. We can't do our own police, so we called the sheriff office. Hey, put I sent over to do this needed.
So let's back up a little bit. The chief is out of control.
They had one in Clayton County here. Mm-hmm.
So let's back up a little bit, because SBI took this over. Alabama Bureau of Investigations, they took this over and investigated the case. Okay. So in that instance, that's why the sheriff was basically saying that, no, I can't get involved while there's an investigation, right? But now that the investigation is, where it gets cloudy is, are people supposed to just sit back and wait for the investigation? Could take forever, and everybody can use that as an excuse. At what point, if we see that the chief of police put a statement out there misleading the public, especially if she knew she was doing it, someone has to have some kind of authority in this county to intervene and protect the safety of these residents. Because what if, let's just pretend, Freda, that these officers did something that caused T's death.
I know if the SBI has. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't want to overtalk you.
Yeah, if the SBI has taken control, then I can see why the sheriff has said that. It's unfortunate the chief is still chiefing. As my opinion, the chief should have been put on administrative leave and allowed the assistant chief or whoever the next person in line, the major or the captain or the lieutenant, to take on the chief responsibilities until the investigation is complete. It could take years. It's unfair. It's not right. But I do know they want to do their due diligence in this situation. There was a soul lost. Their life is gone. So we want them to do it right. We don't want them to just take their time for the sake of taking their time.
Absolutely.
But we do want them to make
Let me ask you this. Do you know, once, like, if a case is turned over to the SBI, like in this case, Aaliyah, is it still investigated or anything like that on the local end while the investigation is going on? I think she.
That's a good question. Like once, because we know right now that
I
SBI
lost the
said,
last part. I lost the
yeah,
last part.
Okay. Well, I was asking like once it's turned over, once like let me be actually more direct with here with this case. From my understanding, the Mandy's letter came out. Was it April 2nd when it was published
April
on at least
3rd.
online? April 3rd.
April
Okay.
3rd. Yeah, that's the
So I
same day
went
we
back and
turned it
looked
over.
at the Aaliyah statement. Aaliyah, and that's dated for March 31st. And it says that she was contacted, or they were contacted at 3:50 on the day of the incident. So because it was so close, like we do know that, for instance, the ambulance was called at 3:03. So I don't know what it was his official time of death. I guess we're waiting for the autopsy report to say that. But I just feel like that was such a small amount of time for her to turn the case over, but then a few days later still make that statement. It's just like, I don't feel like she had enough time to review everything if between 3:03 and 3:50, which is the time that it says Aaliyah was called. Like that is such a short, time frame to me.
Yeah.
So was she
I
able
agree.
to?
I agree. I don't.
And she said that she turned over all of the body cam footage and evidence and things like that. So once she turns it over, can they legally still look at it themselves? Is that something she could have reviewed after the fact?
Yeah, she probably could, but it depends on what the stipulations are with SBI. Because I know the one police shooting, one of my officers was involved, and we had to turn over his gun, his weapon, everything over to GBI. So we no longer had, as they had the whole body cam footage, everything.
So you didn't have access to it.
Now I can look on my computer, I can still look at it, but I had no access to the physical cameras and things, his physical weapon.
Right.
And that was all turned over. But I think she was just trying to hurry up and put this to an end and hope the family would go away. My personal opinion, based on other scenarios like this, but she would have been better off just not saying anything until this
That's what I
investigation
said.
was
Yeah,
over.
because that peaked a lot for me. I had already
Yeah.
saw the footage and heard about the story, and it's upsetting to watch in itself, But then for her to release that statement, which you just discussed earlier, is so against what we are seeing on the video. It puts that, okay, well, something definitely is sour here,
Yes.
Definitely. I think it's part of a cover up. This is what I think, Freda. After watching the video, many people believe, and I do as well, that he died right there. I believe that when he made it to the jail, because think about it, they tried to take him to the jail and actually try to put him in jail, and they know that this man was probably already dead. And they tried to do that. Now, like I've reported before, the jail has a right to turn people away if they're not medically in a position to come in to the jail. So from there, that's when the sheriff's statement comes in, where he talks about they called the medical. Was it that they said they called Stephanie, or, well, we believe that they said they called for EMS to come to the jail where they
the sheriff's statement that he released, it wasn't on letterhead, it was a post that he released on Facebook. But it said that, the police MPD arrived outside of their detention facility and they called EMS. I don't think the sheriff's office, we don't know. So that's another part. I want to ask you too, like usually at Sally ports and detention centers, is a video there to show, like, as the officers are pulled in, as people are brought into the detention center, like, is that all of that recorded? Usually.
Yeah. Is that usually recorded in the Sally port, Freda? When they take someone there? Yeah, she's frozen. I was like, that's fine. I think I do know the answer to that. That yes, there's cameras there at the Sally port, and I'm hoping and I believe, and he did say this, that all of that footage was turned over to
the sheriff's office said that.
Yes.
Mm.
He did say that when I spoke to the sheriff, he did say that I mean, and I think I remember reading that somewhere too, where they were committed to working with the
Yeah, I did
agency.
see that. I mean, he did say
And
that on that
yeah,
post. So
that's helpful. That
it
is
is,
going to be very helpful.
and I will say, their posts seem to be a little more consistent as far as like just at least those events that happen right outside their jail. But um, yeah, and I can't remember whose statement was released first, actually, whether it was the MPD or the sheriff county's
I
office.
can't. How do I turn the volume up?
You're good. Your volume is good. Your volume is good.
No, I can't hear.
Oh no. All
Oh,
right. Well, let me remove her till she can get that situated. Um. So
if she's on her laptop, if she can't hear, but is having some, well, it'll probably give her feedback though. They
I
say
think
she,
that we're going to definitely have to bring her back Saturday.
yeah,
Uh,
um,
so that we can get, because she has a lot of information
she
that we
does.
really really need to be able to bring this story to where it needs to be. What I want to do though is, I guess this is going to be a good time while she's getting that together. Let's
That's
share.
so many questions for her.
I know, right?
So many points, which is
I
good to know that this is possible. This is firsthand information, and yeah.
I want to show everybody, guys, because we come here week after week talking about T Tunstall and what we feel and what we saw. Well, what we wanted to do on this show was we wanted to branch out and see what people who are not from Monroeville that saw this video. We purposefully wanted to get people outside of this to see what they had to say. And we just wanted to share some of those comments that we were able to find throughout. So let me bring her back here. Let's bring her back here. All right. Okay, now let's see. Can we hear you?
Can you hear me?
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
So
This is my
so
phone, so hopefully this is better.
oh
Okay.
yeah, I hope
Can
so.
you
So
hear
what we're
us
gonna
fine?
do,
Yeah.
let's move this out of the way so we can finish our conversation. You remember those questions, Steph?
Oh, what was that first question here? My goodness. Oh,
The
it was.
Sally Port.
I think it
At the
was the
Sally
Sally Port.
Port.
Like, usually
Yeah.
outside of the jail, do you guys have those cameras that picks up not only video footage but audio as well?
Yes. I know. I've been to the Fulton County, Clayton County, Cherokee County, every jail, every cellar port I've been to has had cameras. I've never been to a cellar port that didn't have audio and video.
Okay.
So they I wouldn't see why a jail would risk the liability of not having a camera with audio and video with it. That's to protect them and to protect the people that they have in their custody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's
Um,
good.
are the police officers, like, were you trained on giving Narcan?
But towards the end, they started training us on it. Um, we've always had it in our like
Yeah.
refrigerators, all of that stuff. We have all of that stuff in our patrol units, in the trunk and all of that. Tourniquets, everything. We would have it. I've not seen it. I've only seen it used in training, but I've never seen it used like out on the field. But if I had to use it, I would know how to do it based on the knowledge, skills, and abilities I have seen. But I've never personally seen it used other than for training purposes.
Okay.
Uh,
So clearly it didn't work for T, right? He got Narcan and he didn't live. In what
um,
circumstances will it not work, Narcan?
if he's already, well, I'm not a medical expert, but I'm assuming if he's already gone. But the toxicology report should be able to tell it if that is in his system, if there were any drugs or anything else in his system.
Right.
And what was the reason why, out of everything they could have done or used, why reach for the Narcan?
Why not
Unless
CPR?
Right. Unless
Yeah.
they're trying to cover up something or
Uh-huh.
so they can say, hey, he was so out of it, we had to use now I think they have a history with him because they said he had a history in previous incidents of refusing to walk.
Mm-hmm.
So based on their previous history, are they saying that, hey, we've had to use Narcan on them before, so that's why we did it, or are they just trying to say we had to use Narcan based on his behavior? We thought he was high on something. But if you dragging, I've never seen me personally, and I have family members who are on drugs. I've never seen someone who was on drugs happen to be, normally they're wilding out and we have to calm them down. If I had to use Narcan, that means they was to the point where they're not moving and we trying to save their life. Um, I wouldn't be dragging somebody who I had to Narcan or have a suspicion who needed to be Narcan
Oh,
or was previously Narcan. I would leave them right where they're at until a medical professional arrived on scene.
wow. So because I mean, obviously, because what I was also saying too, Frida, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, just because an officer gave someone Narcan does not mean they were on drugs.
Only a toxicology can say.
Exactly.
We don't even put that in our police reports that, hey, they were on drugs because we used Narcan. We will put on our police report that Narcan was administered during this incident,
And
and
that's it,
then
right? Don't
that
make
would be
any
it.
assumptions.
We will
Okay.
make, that's all we would put, and then we'll sometimes we'll put no further incident, or we'll put waiting on the evidence back from the toxicology report. But
Well,
at the
how about,
minimum,
yeah.
we'll just
In the
put
dis
Narcan was issued and leave it at that.
in the dispatch report where they called the 911, that was the last thing they said. Possible OD drugs because they
With
gave Narcan.
with
That's the
no other
narrative. I'm telling you. I'm
with no
telling you. I'm
other
telling you.
only thing they said, use Narcan, possible OD, but no other. It's like a DUI case. I can't just say, oh, I arrested him for DUI. Okay, I have to have, there was an odor of an alcoholic beverage. There was stigmata in his eyes. There were, he was not able to walk straight. I would have to use something else. That would, how would this hold up in court is what I'm thinking. If he was alive today, and I wish he was, how would this hold up in court? Okay, you Narcaned me and said I was on drugs. What other evidence did you have besides me refusing to walk that I was needed? I
That's what we've
mean,
been wanting to know. How did they know to
yeah,
give Narcan? How did you know he was on drugs? See, here's my theory, Frida.
yeah,
I think that when they gave him the Narcan, he was already dead.
yeah.
That they got to cover up now and make sure to make it look like we did everything we could to save his life. Like going to the jail. If he's already dead, why are you calling EMS? He's already dead.
Yeah. Now I can see them probably out of panicking. Okay, I can see officer again now going, but they have dash cams in the. I'm just trying to imagine me in that vehicle. They have dash cams in there. I
Okay.
can be looking at the road and still see the person I have in custody in the vehicle behind me. If I can see that he's unresponsive, I can see myself coming over the radio saying, "Hey, my individual who I have in custody, he's non-responsive. I'm pulling over. Send me med units. I'm about to see what's going on." I would come over the radio and say, "I'm about to administer Narcan." At that point, if he's already non-responsive, I could see them issuing Narcan e- either way, just trying to do something. Just trying to do. I could see that as trying to do something. It could be a cover up because he was already gone before they left the scene and they knew it and they was just thinking it through, or it could be the officer literally looked back, but the 911 calls are not conclusive to an officer looking behind him and seeing the unresponsive
They only
person in
called because
custody.
the jail told them to. Like, really?
Okay,
That
okay,
doesn't make
okay.
sense.
Yeah, yeah. It's too. It's a gap. It's a gap missing.
Yes.
It's a
Big gap.
because where's the dash cam from when he was inside of the police car?
That would be interesting to
That's
see.
what we need to see.
Yes. What
Unless
were
you
they
into
talking about? What did they say?
yes,
What did they do? Where did they go? Because
yeah.
because here's another thing, Frida. We've learned
Mhm.
two things from witnesses on this show. One stated
that when they put him in the car, they put him in there face down. Now, if you
What?
just got tased, tell
That's a,
us what that does. If you are tased and
it's
they put
it's
you face down, what did that do? Allegedly.
it asphyxiates you. I know I'm
Yes.
not using proper grammar. I'm country, but you can't breathe, and we are not allowed to transport you. We have to put you, and we have to come over the radio and say 131 Smith transporting Ella Johnson to Fulton County Jail. Seatbelt to the end, handcuffed to the back. Beginning mileage is 941. Beginning time is 184200 hours.
Really?
We have to do all of
Wow.
that. Yeah, before we have to say that over the radio on live radio. That's that. So I'm trying to figure out what was this officer saying. Hey, transform the unit, Tunstall, face down. He is not seat belted in. Beginning mileage 941. Beginning time, start time 184200 hours.
So it is it procedures that you always take the quickest route to the detention center?
Well, that's the procedure, unless like in Atlanta they had a lot of events and stuff going on. So sometimes dispatch would say, "Hey, remember it's a game going on. Don't use Northside Drive, or don't use the interstate." But it is to get the quickest that we would want to get them because we want to get them safely out of our custody, out of handcuffs, and into a cell where they can have more freedom as
Mm.
soon as possible, so they can get food, water, drink, and whatever they may need. But if the jail the that tells me that when he arrived, he was unresponsive. Because
Mm.
Fulton County won't even take you if there's any signs of something that even
That's
if we
right.
tase an officer here in Fulton County, they would not take you until you take them to Grady first. If a medic has not looked at some, that's what I'm trying for. Why are they dragging somebody they have tased?
They just
Because
messed this all the way up.
it's just
Yeah.
mind-boggling to me is how
No,
they
but Frida,
allowed this.
I didn't tell you everything. A
Mhm.
witness also stated that when they put him in the car face down, they stood around before they got in the car to leave. One lady went back to the woods and they
Mhm.
waited. And then when they left, they didn't go in the direction of the jet facility.
That's
They
why I
went an
asked you that.
entirely different direction, wasting time.
And
Wasting
Yes.
I
time.
mapped that out, Frida,
Okay.
where like since
Okay.
they went the opposite direction, it would have basically took almost triple the time. It would only take 4 minutes if they would have went the correct way. And Monroe was very small, so it was very doubtful something was going on, which they couldn't go the way in which they
Okay.
actually initially came when they saw him. But yeah,
Mm.
if they took the opposite way, it went from 4 minutes to close to maybe like 12 minutes.
Okay.
And that's if they were actually like driving at a decent
Okay.
pace.
Now, if the officer went back to where they got him from, I would want to know. Okay, why did you go back? I'm thinking as a sorry, I would ask my why did you go back? Was there a taser deployed? Were you gathering evidence? Why did you go back?
Yeah.
And if now that to me that's not uncommon. Going like if there's a large crowd outside.
And there wasn't.
It wasn't okay. If there wasn't a large crowd, then he could have easily just went the shortest way. But sometimes we'll divert just to get away from the crowd and just go somewhere else until the crowd die down. Then, but all of that has to be put over the. Once we have somebody, everything we
Interesting.
do has to be put out on the radio. I'll be driving with the radio in my hand, with one hand on the wheel, saying, "Okay, this is where I'm at, location." And the dash cam, as far as I know, as long as there's somebody else in that vehicle with me besides me, um, that dash cam is on. It automatically comes on. I think once you I don't know how their patrol units are set up, but once you put somebody in the back, the dash cam should automatically come on. So
Now,
why isn't that?
is that also a liability for someone to be laying down and not sitting up in their seatbelt? Is that a liability
Yes,
to them?
that's a huge.
Okay.
We would. That's something we would never ever do. That's against all
Oh,
standard operating procedures. We have to before anybody getting out of patrol vehicle, whether they're in custody or not. Let's say you a citizen and you just want to do a ride along. First of all, we have to make sure you don't have any weapons on you. So we're gonna say, "Hey, Miss Ella Johnson, you mind if I pat you down just to make sure you don't have anything on that could hurt you or myself?" After that, put you up front if you just doing a citizen, you just want to see where your tax money going. We've had citizens do that. Sit up front, you drop, then when you say you're done, we let you out. If you're under arrest, we put your handcuffs on. We say, hey, do you have anything that could hurt you or me? We pat you down, make sure you don't have anything on you. We put you in the back seat. We would never, I don't see any instance where any officer anywhere logically, where any human being in a private vehicle, would you put your own child or any human being you know face down and leave him there? And then why are you standing around knowing this? Now reminded me of George Floyd, while they were standing around while this knee was on his neck. Like, why is this happening? It's
Yeah.
like grown folks. It's like mind boggling to me, and
That is why
I
this
don't
case
understand it.
infuriates us so much, and that
Yeah,
we have to talk about it repeatedly,
it makes my
because
brain
it was
hurt.
just so nothing about this. And then for her to say without incident, that was an insult.
Yes,
That was a
yes,
true insult.
yes. It
Yeah.
was, and it was untrue. It
And it
was
was
not a factual statement. That alone would be enough to take this out of that department hand. And I agree, as a citizen of Monroeville, I would not trust her to still be my police chief. Because how do we know this isn't a one time? It's how do we know this has not happened in the past and you don't got comfortable with it? But to
Yeah.
be standing around
hello.
as an officer, I mean, it's certain. I could not be just standing there knowing there's somebody in the backseat of a, as a person. I could not just stand there knowing somebody is face down in the back seat of any vehicle with their hands behind their back. And just, to me, that's inhumane. That to me says they are comfortable doing this. It's
Yes.
just complacency. They done got too comfortable, and they probably
So
never would have thought this would have happened.
so let's move to like the people that we need to hold accountable. So let's talk about first the mayor. In this situation, let's talk about the chief first. Let's talk about her. Soon as this happened and we saw that T died, what's the first thing the chief of police should have done?
Comforted the family. The chief, in my opinion, I'm not the chief, but in my opinion, once I found out one of my officers had someone in custody who has transitioned, I'm the chief. I would personally go to the family, explain what has happened, see what the family need, what we could do. I know they're gonna be upset with me. I'm gonna expect that. I'm gonna expect everything they're gonna throw at me. I'm gonna expect all of that. My job is to remain calm and to do the truth. If I don't have the truth, if I don't know, just say I don't know right now. All I know is he's no longer with us, unfortunately. I offer all of my condolences. The fact we are here for you and the family. This is still under investigation. I would not be putting out any statements without a thorough investigation. And if I'm the chief, I wouldn't even try to invest. I would automatically hand it off, especially if one of my officers are involved in my police department. If I'm the chief, I'll have the sheriff on the phone or GBI on the phone saying, hey, one of my officers had someone in custody who's no longer alive. I don't feel comfortable with us investigating our own, just out of
And they did that.
decency. They
Mhm.
did
They
do
Yeah,
that.
they
she,
did
Okay.
that
I
Oh,
mean,
he,
Aaliyah said that they got the call by at
right
3:50,
away. Yeah.
and I don't know
They
what time they
did
got
that.
to the hospital, but EMS, at least from the jailhouse, was called at 3:03. So
Hmm.
47 minutes after you guys called the ambulance. And I will say too, on her statement, she said the officer encountered him at 2:30. So all of this happened, according to them, in a very short span of time. You know,
what was the initial call for?
that morning, supposedly he had someone called. It was like
Some
a
kind of
domestic
domestic
violence,
violence
and that
type
was at
situation.
8:30 that morning.
Yeah.
And so according to her statement, at 2:30, her officer was riding down Marengo Street,
And saw him.
recognized T,
Yeah.
and pursued him. He ran. They called for backup. They caught him in the woods. All of that happened there that we saw on the videotape. They made their way back to the sheriff's office, and then they called the ambulance by 3:03. So he saw him at 2:30, according to them. By 3:03, they was at the sheriff's office calling the ambulance.
Yeah.
Okay. The person that called that he was that the person that called the police on him, did they say anything about him being on drugs? Say anything?
Not that I've heard.
That's a good question.
Okay.
We don't know anything about that, about drugs or anything involved in this particular incident.
Okay.
So we'll only
Mm,
find that out when we get the toxicology report
right.
based on what. Now, looking at that video, just from your experience, what would you say the cause of death could be? Well, let me put it like this: if I told you that it was homicide, would you believe that?
Yeah, yes. Homicide just means that the death was caused by someone else.
Right?
That's there's suicide, homicide, accidental, undetermined. Um, Homicide just means the death was caused by somebody else. Um, because I really believe if he wasn't in there, face down, handcuffed, while people standing around, there's a huge chance that he would be alive if he was just seatbelted in, handcuffed to the back, and was sitting in the upright position in the back seat of a vehicle. Anybody can try just laying down on your stomach for a long amount of time. After 2 or 3 minutes, you yourself would be like, I need to come up for air.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
true.
not a normal position for a human body to be in, let
And
alone now
handcuffs.
your
Yeah,
hands are restrained behind your back. So now you don't have much, and not alone, now you are confined to a small area in the back seat of a car. Just imagine that. Laying face down in the back seat of a car with limited movement and your hands are behind your back.
all
To
right, let's
me,
go to the
this
next person. Mayor, what should he have done,
the
if
mayor.
anything?
Um, I think the chief, the mayor should have put the chief on administrative leave, especially after that horrible press release that was just put up here that I just read, and put the next person in line to manage the police department. Not only because of that statement, but because of the trust and the faith of the community. How can the community now trust anything from that police department after what the chief did? For that reason alone, if I'm the mayor of the city, I'll say, hey, chief, I'm just gonna have to, put you on a paid administrative leave, whatever they want to call it, to get the citizens back to trusting our officers again. Because once morale get low and once the trust get low statistically, that my road bill gonna get out of control. Because now nobody's gonna they ain't gonna want to listen to the police. They're not gonna want to help the police with other crimes. They're like, we can't trust you. Like,
That's
what if
right.
me and Ella in Monroeville and I see Miss Ella slap somebody? The police can come say, hey, did you see? I'm like, I ain't seen nothing. They're not gonna want to help you with other cases
That's
now.
right. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, she is still employed. That never happened.
Mhm.
And then the officers, they put them on administrative leave for maybe a couple of weeks, I guess it was. And they brought them back. The mayor said we got to bring them back because we need them. We're short officers, and we
Wow.
need to bring them
He
back
literally said that. That was the reason why. Out
for safety
loud
reasons.
in public.
And it was
Those
in the
was his
paper. It was in
words.
the newspaper.
Wow, this is wild to me. I wouldn't have said that. I mean, even if that's true, those were not the words that would have came.
What do you
This is.
typically see in a situation like this for a small town
Oh
that
my
doesn't really
God.
have a lot of officers? What could they
I
have done?
work. I worked for Hateville is only 4 square miles. We only had like what 5 to 8 officers per shift. A total of like 25 officers. So we was always short staffed. And we have had to put officers on administrative leave because a lot of times we had to help our surrounding cities. And but our man would not have said that. Uh, and he was a white man, the mayor of Hateville. He wouldn't have said it. It would have been just like, hey, we're in about what I like about it is they don't have transparency there. He would have called a city council meeting and said, this is what's going on. We have a shortage of officers on the streets, and we have 2 or 3 officers on administrative leave. We can bring them back um, to help out, but this is what say you, citizens of Hateville or of Atlanta? What say you? How would you like to handle this? Me personally, if I'm the mayor, it'd have been like, I can't trust you out here on these streets till I find out that a body is gone, a soul is gone. I can't trust that you're not gonna do that or anything else. And not, let alone that, once one officer see another officer get away with it, now that
There it
officer gonna
is.
be more careless.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to set some type of an example. I would hate to use that word, use officer as an example, but I'm gonna have to set some type of a stone or of a standard. Like we just cannot allow this to happen. the calls are just gonna have to take longer to get answered, and we're gonna just have to put everybody on mandatory overtime, or bring in some officers from other agencies and say, hey, we need some resources here, or call the sheriff department, say, hey, we need some deputies here. But I just can't see a mayor saying, hey, we short, so we're gonna have to bring these, I ain't gonna say killers, we're gonna have to bring these upstanding officers back from administrative leave who
Well,
I don't get
what
it.
he justified it with, Feeder, was saying they'll be supervised. We're going to have
They were
supervisors going
supposed
out
to
with them.
they were supposed to be supervised in the when this happened. Uh, it-
Yeah.
what
And
were the
then
citizens saying?
this is where it gets a little gray, Frida, because
Mm.
it you would have to be from Monroeville to be able to understand it. You're
I
used to a
think
place.
so, because I'm way
Yeah.
confused.
It seems like the citizens are actually scared. That's what it seems like.
I
And
see. Oh, that
yeah,
makes a difference.
they
I
had
see.
a couple of protests.
Okay.
Hardly anybody showed up for it.
Okay.
They did allow someone to speak at the city council, and that's when the mayor made the decision: one, we're going to return those officers back to work, and
Mhm.
two, you guys are talking about this. I've investigated so many cases, and what did he say, Steph? Um, in other words, I've seen worse than this.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. There's
Yeah,
nothing worse than somebody losing their life. That's just the
that's what I
ultimate
said.
worst.
And I
The
think he should have
choice of
apologized.
words.
He should have
Yes.
apologized for that.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
choice of words. But when there's a spirit of fear of the police department in the city, I can this now is making sense to me.
yeah.
Um, they need to do some national night outs or something where do they have a community policing unit where they sole purpose is they have cops literally just ride around just to the it's called Cops on Patrol, the cops unit here in Georgia. But we literally have an officer, the sole purpose is not to arrest anybody, anything, but just to let the citizens and the business owners know that hey, we're here for you. Um, because as long as there's fear, because what I'm imagining in my mind is going on, the citizens have probably been told by officers over and over again, we are gonna arrest you, we are gonna arrest you. No matter what they do, it say we're gonna arrest you. And that put the spirit of fear in them to not even want to speak up or say anything, even though they know an officer is doing wrong. And everybody, we're all citizens, but none of us is perfect. So a citizen can say, man, I stole a candy bar the other day and officer let me go. If I say something, he gonna come back and get me. And because they got that spirit of fear over the city, over the citizens, they just gonna put up with it because none of them are perfect. Nobody is. The biggest criminals are police officers. That's why
Yeah.
they're good at their job. And so,
Mm.
and a lot of officers, I've done it as an officer. I'll say, hey, I'm gonna let you go on this one, but I know you got some information for me on another case. And I'll let them go. But a lot of officers do that. It's officer discretion when it comes to misdemeanors. We have no discretion when it comes to felonies. We have to um, do an arrest. But I can see, I think I'm getting a clear. Is Monrovia more poverty stricken? Is it a lot of?
Um, I don't know the statistics on that, to be honest with
Okay,
you.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't.
yeah, it's not like a. I mean, it definitely has like some low income because even in that Clydesdale community, you definitely have some low income areas as well as some who may be at least middle class.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, but as far as like a place where there's a lot of homelessness or a lot of like drug activity in the streets like that, I mean, not like it used to be from what I've
I'm
seen.
just,
And I visit
um,
pretty regularly now, and I have family there.
yeah.
So um
So you
Yeah, I'm
said
just not
something.
saying this. I'm just not saying this comment, and this is exactly what
Yes,
I mean.
yes.
It's just they put fear in these citizens by doing stuff like that, pulling them over for no reason, beating them. So it's just a spirit of the whole police department, in my opinion, probably needs to be gutted, or they need to. It's an accreditation.
1000%.
Yes, there's this accreditation you can get. They need this accreditation. I can't think of. I think it's Calea, Calea. I'm sure that's what it is. If you type that in, Calea, it's this accreditation where police departments get,
Mhm.
where this outside organization comes into the community, into the police department, and figure out what is needed to get the community and the police department to work together
That's a
itself.
great idea.
Yeah,
Mm,
and then they'll get the accreditation. If somebody bring that up to the mayor to, hey, we want this police department to be CALEA accredited,
okay.
CALEA, that
Yeah, I
would
have their website.
bring in um um I don't know the name, but I know it's the initials are CALEA. Once they
That's
get
a
that
good
accredited,
idea.
The
yeah.
Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's what it. Thank you so much. That's what it is. Yeah.
Hmm.
Once if they
Okay.
get that accreditation, that means that we have come in, and I don't know who these people are. I don't know if they're from the DOJ, but they've come to. Hey, they come like once a year, and they just interview. They go around. They look at the police reports. They look at. They talk to citizens, and they tell the mayor of Fayetteville, say this is what needs to be done in order to get the, and it worked. Once we got the accreditation, more people was willing to talk to us, and I would recommend every police agency get that accreditation or something similar, because I heard that was expensive. I don't know how much it was, but I heard one of my lieutenants say it was an expensive accreditation to get, but it's worth it. You can see a huge difference because
So
then you'll
Frida, let
find
me
out. Hmm.
let me ask you another question. You said something that was important. Let's talk about T. They
Hmm.
said there was a warrant.
Hmm.
Okay. We haven't heard anything about this warrant.
Yeah.
Would it matter to you as a police? Let's just pretend it was a misdemeanor. Let's say it's child support or something simple like that. Was all of that worth it? Could they have just let him get away and get him the next time?
On a misdemeanor, yes, but on a warrant, no. Once a judge signs off on a warrant, we have a duty to bring that person into the custody of the state, or if it was a period, or is it municipal warrant, state. I would have to see the warrant, but we have
Okay.
to bring that person in, unless it was a bench warrant, a traffic warrant. I don't know what type of warrant it was, but once a judge signs a warrant on to bring a body into custody, then we have to do that, or we have to come in front of the judge and explain, hey, your honor, we wasn't able to get him because he ran away, and then more than likely the judge gonna be reprimanding us. So if there's a active warrant, then the warrant literally means you have to go get this individual and bring him before me, and that's how I understood it as an officer. But in my opinion, they never did do what the warrant said to do. Because on warrants, every warrant I've seen is to put the person in because to bring them before the judge.
That's
He
right.
hasn't been there to see the judge. They failed to uphold the what the warrant was for. There was no warrant that ends with someone in a coffin. Now unless you do something while I'm trying to issue this warrant that would cause me to have to use a form of deadly force on you, which I can explain in a police report that would not need a press release to cover up anything, then that's a different story. But
See,
this warrant,
they lose the opportunity to now say he did that because you said he was arrested without incident. So either he was
exactly,
yeah. So
exactly,
you can't now come and tell me, well, we tased him because he was doing this and he was no. You had an opportunity to say that, but you
yeah.
didn't. You said he was arrested
And I
without.
don't know why the chief wouldn't say that, because people get tased probably every day
Right,
from a police officer. I
right.
don't know why she wouldn't just say it. Tunstall was
Unless they know
tased.
they did it excessively. Now, if I did
Right.
it excessively, I'm gonna try to hide that.
You can't tase
Yeah.
anybody more than twice. They teach you that because you after the second time, even if you deploy that's why we don't give you two cartridges. If
Two
you, if you
cartridges.
yeah, each tase there's a cartridge in the front and then there's a cartridge underneath the camera on the back of the taser. It's
Okay.
a backup cartridge just in case one of them fall off or something like that. They just gave it as a backup, but you can't even tase anybody more than twice in a 24-hour period. So when I'm on a
Mm.
night shift and
Wow.
they tell me, hey, we had to tase Johnny today, so if he get out or burn out of jail, don't tase him tonight. That's why they have a briefing between each shift, so we'll know what has happened in the previous shift, so we'll know what to do and what
Ah,
not to do on the night shift. But as far as every training, because we had to take deadly force, use of force training every single year to keep our post accreditation. And every taser training I've ever been in, you can't tase anybody more than twice,
So
unless
what if I told you that it's alleged that T had multiple burn marks on him from taser? Multiple. What if I told you that was something that's been alleged?
I would say that looks like a homicide to me. That looks like a
Mm,
death caused by another individual. I'm not saying it's right for or wrong for homicide. I don't know the full story, but if
right.
if I saw burn marks on somebody that was caused by my officer, I would need to see some injuries on my officer. I'm like, okay, well, he got 18 burn marks. Well, let me see your
Good
injuries.
point.
What was he doing to you? Are you cut up anywhere? Do you have any bullet holes in you somewhere? Is your bullet vest, your armor vest, is it filled with bullet holes? I would need to see some injuries on my officer. So when I bring up that use of force report or that deadly force report to my lieutenant, I could say this individual is deceased and has these burn units on him because of the injuries he caused upon my officer. My officer had to do this to save his life or to save the life of someone else. But if I'm gonna see excessive burn marks from a prong, from a dry tase on a subject, I'm gonna have to see some signs from my
Mm.
officer where he was injured in some type of way. And he had to
So
do
if
what
I'm
he
a
had to do.
DA, if I'm a
Mhm.
DA now and I'm looking at this case and I see that the mayor, the chief of police said it was arrested without incident, but then I have an autopsy report that shows me pictures of a man with taser burns all over him. As a DA, what do you do?
I can't trust nobody from that police department. As a DA, how can I put them on the stand? You're gonna have a jury of 12, tried by 12, or carried by 6. You're gonna have a jury of 12 people who now will not be as a DA. I could not use anybody from that police department. As a DA, I wouldn't even. At, I don't see how I would even try this case. I'll be trying to talk to the family about a settlement. That's the only way I
Really?
could see the DA go. Because how is the DA now going to be able to put this chief and officers on a stand in front of a jury of 12 people and expect this jury to believe this press release that was out and then look at the video footage and make the two make sense? And the DA is not going to make himself look stupid for a police department or a police chief. The DA gonna
Mm.
call the mayor and say, "Hey, y'all need to settle this because I'm not even gonna try to take this to court." I mean, if I had some type of dignity as an attorney, as the DA, and from my experience working with Paul Howard, who was the DA before Fonnie Willis in Fulton County, I know how they think, and they ain't not be able to like, okay, your officers have messed up. I'm not about to come on to court looking foolish because your officers or the chief have messed up. Y'all need to settle this out of court.
Because the DA is not on any one side. His job
Mm-mm.
is to look at the evidence
Right.
and see if he can. So why do a settlement? What if I want these officers arrested and put in
Yeah.
jail because they killed
Yeah.
my son?
Yeah, on the criminal part, yes, they got him on that.
Okay,
I was talking civil. I'm sorry, I got that
civilly.
confused. 'Cause
Okay,
what
right.
I would do, I would get a grand jury. I was the DA. I would call in for a grand jury to come in, which is registered voters, basically consists of a grand jury. I say this is what we got. Show them the video, and I say this is a statement they put out. The grand jury gonna look at this and say yes, we have enough to bring criminal charges. Well, not on those two alone, because then they're gonna have to see the burn marks. They're gonna have to see the toxicology report. They're gonna have. We need more information. The grand jury gonna come back with, okay, we need more information. We can't make a determination right now, or they're gonna say it's not enough to try this case at this time, or they're gonna say throw it out altogether. But with what they have right now, I don't see a grand jury saying throw it out. I see a grand jury saying we need some more information. We can't just because the video shows him being drugged out, but we don't know what happened before that. We don't know what
That's right.
happened after that.
That's right. That's fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so right now we just need more information. If I was on the grand jury, I'd be raising my hand saying I don't have enough information to make a decision at this point. So it'll be like a dead call. I don't know what the term. Uh, the bill would be a dead bill. Yeah, I have
Yeah,
a traumatic brain injury, so sometimes it takes a while for it
that's
to come back to
okay.
me.
That's what
Yeah,
we're here
but
for.
yeah, it'll
Stephanie,
be.
And
Mm-hmm.
I know it's hard. If they,
yeah,
I think they, if they do, it's called a true bill. If they do
True,
get it,
true
right?
bill. Yeah.
okay.
Yes, yes,
Hmm.
true. Be of it, right? Yeah.
Now,
So,
Stephanie had asked something earlier, but that was when we were having a lot of difficulty with the hearing you. But I thought it was a good question, and she asked. It was something about. Oh my gosh! Now I'm losing my mind. It was something about the tasing,
mhm.
and oh, can you manipulate body cam footage whenever whenever those officers are out in the field? Are they able to manipulate it?
No, not that I, because we use the Axon system is AXON. If you want to put that in, what they had to, they would have to bring their body cams and their tasers and put it on a charging dock. At the beginning of each
Mhm.
shift, and they beginning of each shift they take it off, and at the end of each shift they put it on the charging dock. Once they get it and holster it, if they take it out, it's the camera is gonna come on. The camera goes to the Axon system, AXON, Alpha X-ray Oscar November, and I can look at it. I can be in my office and on the computer, on the system, I can see the camera footage. So I don't see how they can manipulate. They can manipulate their taser and try to damage it, but the video footage is on a software system, just like your ring door camera. If somebody come to your ring door camera, you can still see it on your phone or on your computer. They can try to damage the camera, um, but you still have them even trying to damage it on your computer. You can
Is
still
it
see that.
is it improper for the mayor's wife? Because when this thing first got started and the
Mhm.
protests happened, I heard the young man that was running the protest say that he had a conversation with the mayor's wife, and she made a comment about the body cam footage, the video. Y'all
Mhm.
are gonna be surprised when y'all see that video. So why in the world would a allegedly a mayor's wife make a comment about body cam footage or something
Mm.
pertaining to the case?
A lot of people talk out the side of their neck when big cases like this come out. Cause I don't, unless she works somewhere, I don't know if she working for the city or as a wife, she just saying stuff based off what she have heard being in conversations with the mayor, and she probably have heard some conversations, but um people, because I've heard and seen all types of people say stuff when I was a police officer, and I'd be like, they're just talking outside their neck because they ain't even seen it. If she have seen it, then why didn't she say what she saw? Instead, she said we gonna be. It's like trying to put fear. Like, look, don't even be out here protesting because y'all gonna be shot when y'all see the camera footage. Okay, if I was a reporter, I said, okay, so have you seen the camera footage? And she would say yes. If she say no, then okay, ain't no meaning me talking to you. If she say
Right.
yes, okay, what are we gonna be shocked at? If they have done nothing wrong, then why don't you just say that instead of saying we gonna be shocked? Why don't you just say, hey, the video footage I've seen it and it says we've done nothing. They've done nothing wrong. But a statement like that, it just makes me
Takes no, it has no substance. Based on
right.
everything you've seen, where do you think it fell down? This whole thing, where did it just really collapse?
I
Based on
think
what
it,
you've seen and heard tonight.
I think it collapsed in the woods. Something happened in the woods. I think he probably was on his way out of here when they put him in the back of that vehicle, face down in a closed space, hands behind his back in custody. I think he was probably on his way out of here then. I think the officer probably was didn't have the dash cam on. I don't know what type of system they use, and probably didn't even realize or didn't even care until he got to the jail, or the officer realized he was gone, and that's why it took him so long to get to the jail. He was trying to come up with a story.
Mm.
Um, but it's too many missing pieces for me, especially since last time I checked, all officers due to George, ain't this the George? I know it didn't pass yet, but there was a George Floyd law or something where all officers are supposed to now have body cam footages or something like that.
Hmm.
So when I was an officer when that George Floyd stuff went down, and I remember they're saying, Georgia Post saying all officers by the end of the year have to have body cam footage.
Can you check
Um,
that, Stephanie, and see what it is
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Alabama?
I'm checking on that
Yeah.
now.
yeah.
Because the last thing I did see in
Mhm.
Alabama, I saw that it was kind of dependent on each state, and
Oh,
Alabama didn't have like a law that required every precinct.
okay,
I
I
think it was
think
still
that's what
kind of
we're gonna
up to that
find.
precinct. But
Yeah,
okay,
that's kind of
yeah,
messed up. Yeah.
while I'm
yeah.
looking this up, I did want to ask you, like, is it recorded if a police officer turns off their body cam while they're active in the
Mm.
field?
Yes, yes. I'll be I'll be on the radio. Hey, Unit 124, what's going on with your
Mm,
body cam? I like to put everything over the radio because it covers me. So if my lieutenant come in the morning, he ain't gonna be looking at me saying, "Hey, your officer didn't have his body cam on all shift. Where were you at?" So
mhm.
I
So
like
all
to
of
put
that's
everything.
recorded.
Because
Okay.
we have to test. It's the sergeant's responsibility to make sure that that officer is ready for duty before they go. We have to make sure the shoes, the uniform, they got everything they need, they flashlight, everything they need on their duty. But that's the sergeant's responsibility. And I'm not gonna lose my job over an officer who's not ready for duty. I'm not gonna put you on duty knowing you're not ready for duty. So
Mm.
it's my responsibility. And then if I find you out on the field, or if you if that body cam move, it's alerted. We had, what was that? We had phones, my police unit phones, and it would alert us. Like now they have GPSs on them too, the tasers and the body
Hmm.
cams. So I know where you're at. I know where I can account for. I can tell you where your 20 is. 20 is location. Um, if the body cam or anything, if I'm alerted on my phone of anything, I'm on the radio like, hey, 124, what's your 20? What's your 20? What's your location? I'm like, okay, we need to meet up. What's going on with your body cam? What's going on? I need to know so I can document this.
So
Mm.
somebody could have potentially, like, if they had a call come in on the radio, like the chief said, that, I guess he had a runner. And since Morova is so small, I'm sure that, uh, is that something somebody would have started watching immediately once you know
if,
that you have like your police officer in pursuit of somebody?
indeed, that's our job. And so I'll be on my way to the scene, or if I'm in my office, I'll be like, okay, or I'll be in dispatch because dispatch has a huge TV screen up with
Mm-hmm.
everything gonna go. It's called the flock FLOCK. If you put it's called the flock unit that police departments use now too. That has it that can give the GPS location of all units and departments and video footage of it. And I'll either be in my, if I'm in my police unit, I'll be en route to that officer, or if I'm in my office, approving reports or whatever, I'll be looking at it, watching it on the Atsun
As it's
system.
happening.
Hmm.
So now we used to could do that, but at one point they didn't want to pay for that package, so they waited till the
Okay.
units were docked. So it depends on what package the police department want to pay for. But I do know
Okay.
that's a capability. I do know that because I've seen it before, so I know that there are capabilities for that to happen as it is happening. Yeah.
So let me ask
Okay.
you a question now. I want to get to the other side so we can get to this video. Um, Now, the case where it stands now, uh, the ADFS, the Alabama Department of Forensic Sciences, has completed their report, and they've turned that over to either SBI, the DA, or whomever has that report. Which means now they know the cause of death, T. Tunstall. Now, I want to give you a scenario. Let's say that DA is looking at that autopsy report and it shows, obviously, we already know the autopsy means that the death was caused by someone else. And that's basically all it has. But that report also includes the toxicology report, correct? So
Yes.
they have done their due diligence on that. I think this is what I pulled this up here, that the autopsy report is going to give us the cause of death, the
Hmm.
manner of death, toxicology reports, photographs, microscopic findings, evidence, examination reports, the medical examiner's opinions.
So all of that's going to be in that report, correct?
Yes,
So let's
ma'am.
look at the manner of death. That's where we talked about it's either natural. So we know that let's just pretend it's homicide. That means we know that he didn't die because he got sick. We know that, and then if it's an accident, we know there was no accident involved. So the next thing is we know he didn't kill himself. And so now you're looking at homicide, or they can't tell, right? Undetermined. So
Right.
let's pretend this is homicide. Now the toxicology report, if he had drugs in his system, will it matter?
Um, if he had drugs in his system, he could have still survived if he was handcuffed properly and put in the back of a car properly. I've personally taken people to jail with drugs in their system, and they're still alive today. So, was the drugs? They would have to prove that it was the drugs that he would have been on his way out of here without the police being involved in his life whatsoever that day at all or not. They would
But
have
if
to
it was
prove that.
homicide, if it's homicide, that rules out
That
that
rules
drugs
out.
killed him.
Right.
Absolutely. So
If
for
it's
those people,
determined,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish what you're saying.
yeah, if it determined homicide, the next thing the DA gonna try to determine if it was a rightful or wrongful homicide.
How
That
can
would
it
be
be
the
a
next.
rightful homicide?
Rightful homicide is the death was caused by somebody else, but it was justified. Which means, yes, unfortunately, I had to unalive this individual because my life was at
But they
risk.
can't say
Was
that now, though, because
right.
if you try to say that now, then you need to
Right.
quit because you said he was
Exactly.
arrested without incident. Okay,
Exactly.
so microscopic findings. What is that really? Is that
Micros-
like under the nails or stuff that's
right. Right. Yeah, that's a microscopic finding is like, yeah, now we're dealing with tissue samples, stuff you can find under the nails, stuff you might find in the nose, like the Narcan spray. That's what they would put in the microscopic finds. Basically, stuff they would have to put on the micro tissue. They would have to put on a microscope to find out if it had to do anything with the cause of death.
now? I want to ask something about Narcan because I said this on the show and I want to make sure that I was accurate. For Narcan to work, do you have to be breathing?
As far as I know, because you have to inhale it into your system in order for it to work.
Okay,
I
I was
can't
right.
think of. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I
Mhm,
said that, and I said there's two reasons that Narcan won't work. One is if you're dead already, and two
mhm,
is if you're not on drugs, because it
mhm.
only works if you have opioids in your system. Correct?
Right, right.
Okay.
As far as my training, yes, ma'am.
All
That's
right.
correct.
Now, photographs taken during the autopsy and
Mhm,
documentation of injuries. So, when someone is getting an autopsy, they're actually taking photos of everything, right?
mhm. Yes, I've unfortunately to experience that, and I had a daughter that passed away at birth, and I looked at
Oh, I'm
those
so sorry.
autopsies. Yeah, thank you. I looked at those autopsy pictures as well. But yeah, it's from north, south, east, and west, top, bottom, corner. It's a host. I forgot the acronym for it. I have to ask the crime scene investigator. But you go top down, north, south, east, west, every angle, and then inside the organs, the T, the teeth, and the V. I know this is not making sense, but in my brain, it's making that's how the picture's gonna come out looking.
I'm
And
following you though. Yeah.
okay, yeah. So it's gonna the pictures from somebody who's have a trained eye to see, they'll know what they're looking at when they see the picture. So when the DA get those pictures, I'm sure it's not gonna be the first autopsy scene. He's gonna be able to see it's like Nolan Wells when they sent the body with that. That's highly unusual. When I first saw that, I was like, what? So Mississippi is keeping that for some reason. They done found something, which Nancy Grace came on TV and said the same thing. But yeah, once the DA get all of those photos, along with the toxicology, the microscopy, and put all of it together, it'll start painting a picture of what happened.
So the DA is going to have a hard time, like you said, prosecuting this if he's looking at those photos and
Mhm,
he's seeing all these marks and bruises on this young man,
mhm.
and it's not listed in an incident report anywhere.
Right. This, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a complete. For me, when before I even approved a report, I had to, you had, and my officers knew that they knew I remember Sergeant Smith gonna be looking for who, what, when, where, why, how. You have to answer all of those questions in the police report. I'm not gonna approve it. I'm gonna send it right back to you. All those questions have to be answered. So it's not even a complete report if you didn't even put all of that in there. And how can you put all of that in there and then come to the conclusion of without incident? Right, the
Yeah.
drag part, who, what, when, where, why? Why are you dragging him? What? It's just insane. Make it make sense to me. I would
Make it
literally
make
be
sense.
looking at my officer and literally these are the words. Okay, make this. I'm looking, and I'll bring the officer with me. Like, here, come here, come here, come here. Look at this, the camera right here. Look at the camera. Make that make sense to me. That's exactly what I'd be saying. Make it make sense. And now make the officer stand there till he make it make sense to me. And like, you can find no other way to do this. Not
Right.
even as an officer, as a human being. I would try to bring my officers to a level because being a police officer gives you some type of power or control that some officers tend to take to their heads. So I would try to humanize my officer. I'm like, take the uniform off. Should a human being be
That's
dragging
right.
another human being like
That's
this?
right.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Mm.
Regardless of if he was
Right,
conscious, if he refused to walk, like you said
right,
earlier, like one officer could have gotten in front, one could have got, they could have like stopped where he refused to walk and brought the
exactly,
car to him, and then
exactly,
loading him into the car. But
exactly.
you
Good
can
point.
see, what one of the witnesses said, like on that video, that once they got to that door, like they picked him up,
Hmm.
and put him inside. It just didn't seem like he would have been active and alert at that point. And like
Right.
you said, we didn't hear him talking on that video
Yeah.
as he was being put into the car.
Yeah, this just makes me think it's too much comfortable and too much complacency in this police department. They've gotten away with it for so long that unfortunately it led to this. And
Yeah.
that's what it's because for them to just be standing around like that, to me, that says, okay, we've done this 100 times, nobody's died yet. So it's just complacency was the issue for me. They too comfortable. It just tells me there are other people out there who this has happened to. I'm sure some people at least I've seen some in the comments with somebody saying they was beat up and stuff. So it's sad what's going on there and that a life was taken. He had two children, a mother. That I mean, it's just sad, you
So
know.
I wanted to share some of these guys. That's why I was just showing it while you guys were talking, so people can kind of look at it. But this is where people
Hmm.
across this country,
Yeah.
how they felt about watching that video. You see
Right.
this guy here. He says the KKK police department.
Yeah.
I can't even say all this.
Right.
They're going to
I
start finding
understand.
them like they find black people hanging from a tree.
Yeah.
But I mean, this country is hurting right now
Yeah.
because of instances like this, and
Yeah.
there needs to be reform and removal. I have one more question about this, and then we're going to watch the video. What if you, when you say that there needs to be oversight, how does the city get DOJ? Because right now we have a petition out there to
Mm-hmm.
try to get DOJ involved, the AG to get the DOJ involved. That's
Mm-hmm.
what the petition is for.
It
What
yeah.
other way
Mhm.
can that happen besides a petition?
A private citizen, anybody can call the Department of Justice. Anybody can say this is what you can be a whistleblower and call the Department of Justice. Anybody can do and say this is what's going on. Now the Department of Justice will have to decide. Okay, I got this going on in Monroeville, but I got this going on. So the Department of Justice um, have so many cases they're looking at, and so many police departments. They just have to figure out where to put Monroeville in on their list, basically. But anybody can call and put in a complaint or give them some information what's going on. Um, but at this point, I think once we get all the information, the toxicology, the autopsy, the video footage, once all of that come out, I think that's when this will really take off. Right now it's stagnant because there's not enough information out. We're all hypothesizing
Absolutely.
what's going
Absolutely.
on,
Yeah.
and it's not good.
Saying
But
alleged. I said
right,
alleged
right,
court.
this show with T than I've said in my life,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because we don't want to make the mistake of
Right.
calling the police officers murderers when
Right.
we don't know all of the information. What we can
Right.
say is based on that video.
Right.
It looks like, they mistreated him, or they
Yeah.
didn't, they didn't show a duty to care to T
Mm-mm.
Tunstall because they did not get care for him. So
Right.
we're gonna go into it because we're almost out of time here.
Mm-hmm.
You did a song for T Tunstall. Tell me what that meant to you and why you felt like this is something you wanted to do for him.
I'm gonna be transparent and honest. Making videos and songs and writing is very therapeutic for me because I do have CPTSD, a traumatic brain injury, social anxiety, and depression. So it's therapeutic for me. I did choose the first one I did was just to be a backup to a video I did talking about the situation. And then when I was invited to your show, thank you so much for inviting me to this show. I said I want to do a song that I think T would like. Like, what would he like? I never knew him, don't know him personally, but I was like, as a young black man in Monrovia, Alabama, what would T be bopping his head to, dance to? Maybe I don't know. Maybe he liked country music. I don't know, but just based off of what I did know, and based on the swag from his pictures, he looked like he probably would have liked some hip hop, So I wanted to try to just think of some lyrics just to say, if he was in the club, would he be dancing to this song? And I just want to make it something fun instead of something, downbeat, because the whole situation is sad. So I want to give something to the family if they hear it, that they say, hey, if T was here, he'll be bopping to this. So that's my prayer. That's my hope. I pray they like it. If not, then I just pray at least make somebody smile. And that's my hope for it.
Here we go. T song.
Monrovia, hear me? No long talk. Run it. Step in the light, whole room gon' pivot. Bass hit hard, make the floor feel vivid. Name in my chest, I'm loud with it. Truth don't sleep, I'm proud with it. Clap on two, let the hats go skipping. Kick four on flow, whole crowd start dipping. I ain't here for the hush, I'm different. Say it clear, every bar got vision. Hold up, right? They tried quiet, but I break that ceiling. Every second count, every word got meaning. No rewrite when the pain's still breathing. Pressure on, yeah, the truth stay leaning. Say his name, Ammarin, Tunstall. Say it loud, no stall. Say his name, till we call. Truth gon' rise, watch it all. I'm 10 toes down with the tempo tight. Voice cut clean, yeah, I step in bright. No blur lines, I deliver precise. Every bar hit heavy like a strobe light flash. Short gas, boom, watch the beat drop out. Then I snap right back, let the crowd shout out. No gimmicks here, just facts en route. Energy up, let it shake the south. Ad-libs wide, I'm talking big facts up, low ride. Feel it deep in your back. Switch flows quick, got the pocket intact. Laugh real light, then I double that stack. To the family, hold strong, we see you. To the babies, love loud, we need you. Every truth got a day of breakthrough. Light stay coming, no dark can outdo. Say his name, Ammarin, Tunstall. Say it loud, no stall. Say his name, till we call. Truth gon' rise, watch it all. No fade, cut clean and seen. Name stay ringing, know what I mean.
All right.
I love that. Mhm.
Thank you.
That beat
That is
was
so
everything.
Yes.
Thank you.
That beat
Thank you.
was everything. Wow. So
Thank
tell
you.
us what basically you were saying in this song. What the words?
Yeah,
What were you
say his name. Just to the family, stay strong. To the babies, love long. Just try to keep him in remembrance, and just to you know, just I was just thinking I love what the whole time I was just bobbing like, okay, come on, team. What would you like? What type of dope beat would you like? Would you want the rhythm on tag?
Yeah.
Just that I wasn't really saying it. I was just trying to feel, okay, how would his swag? I was just looking at his picture. I'm like, okay, I can see his swag doing the little, head bop like this. So
Yeah.
I was just trying to feel it. Uh,
So, what would
that's
you like to say to, before we get out of here, what would you like to say to, number one, the family? And then what would you like to say to the citizens of Monroeville and how they need to, how would you encourage us to continue to pursue justice in this case?
Yeah. To the family, I'm so sorry this happened. There was anything I could have done to prevent it. God knows, I'm sure any of us watching and listening,
Absolutely.
and Miss Ella, any of us on this show would. This should not have happened to you. I don't see. Um, I don't want the way he left this world to be his full story. Just try to remember the good times, even the bad times. Remember all the time. Remember all of T. All of him was worth it. The way he ended, he did not deserve that. Hopefully, you'll get the answers that you're needing. That's my prayer. And to the babies, they have to learn words that they should not be trying to learn at this young age, like
Mm.
custody, like autopsy, and like death, and like words like that. They should not be trying to learn and understand those words at this young age. And for the citizens of Monroeville, we are stronger together. We're stronger together. The citizens and the people who love the citizens there, just show a united front. Uh, I know it's going to be hard to trust the police department, but let's try to stand together, show a united front, show up at the city council meetings. Show up for real. I wish, I lived in Smyrna, Georgia. I wasn't even the cop there. I lived there, but because I was a resident, I showed up. Here in Columbus, they have them online, so I show up online most of the time on YouTube in that city council. But show up and let them know that you are here, you're there, you see them, you're watching them, and that at least make some of the police officers at least know that, hey, we can't get by continuing the way we've been going, because now these citizens are on to us. They're coming to the city
Right.
council meeting saying, hey, this
Mm-hmm.
officer dragged this woman. I saw him do it over
Mm-hmm.
here. If they keep hearing that over and over and over again, the mayor, they might have to step up and do something. But if you're not saying nothing or doing nothing, it's going to continue to happen. And please vote. Please vote. Please.
Uh,
Please.
yeah.
But we're stronger together. And thank you so much to Miss Stephanie and Miss Ella Johnson. Thank you both so much for having me on today. I really, or tonight, I really
Well, no,
appreciate
we
it. I
learned so
enjoyed it.
much from you, right, Stephanie?
Absolutely. I mean,
We learned a
I
lot from
have
you.
a
Mhm.
whole notebook over here that
I
I
was
have
gonna say, I
I
bet Stephanie has a
researched to
whole bunch
go.
of research.
I will say, let me share this. So I did look up the George Floyd law. So it basically says that all federal police officers are supposed to have body cam. As
Okay,
far as the state level, the federal
Okay.
will like provide financial assistance
that's
to
what it
state
was.
levels,
Okay,
to for, and they definitely strongly encourage for all police officers to always buy body cam. And so
okay,
yeah, and they will provide financial assistance for that. So I
that's
think
what.
if
Okay.
there's a precinct now who is not using it, it's,
Mhm.
and even that Kalia
Mhm.
accreditation is not that much, honestly. And I
Okay.
think
Okay.
like, but the policing, they have like 4 different, the accreditation you can get, but like the two main,
Mhm.
I think, with them would be assessment for the community, like you mentioned, as
Yeah.
well as like the police training. And so
Yeah.
I mean, one is, I think it was $8,000, and the other one was around
Oh.
about 9,500, but they could make
Okay.
installment payments.
Okay.
So,
Oh,
and that,
I'm learning too.
you know,
Okay.
I don't think it is that difficult. So I think that is a excellent suggestion. And who's like,
Okay.
whoever's running for
Mhm.
office or for
Yeah.
reelection in Monroe County, like I would definitely try to get behind something like that to promote
Yeah.
to the community, to your people.
Yeah.
Um,
absolutely.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and thank you for clarifying George, because I just know they told
oh,
us that
absolutely.
we had to get cameras due to the George Floyd law. But okay, so that explains it. we was just getting the money. So you're right. Any police agency who don't have it is because they just don't want it. Because now it's federally
Exactly.
financed.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Exactly. So, you know, yeah,
Did you
if
have
it's not
any more
there,
questions, Stephanie? Can you think
um,
of anything that we haven't asked Frida?
ooh, wait a minute, because I have a bunch of
Coming back
Well,
for
questions
you.
that
I'll
I
You
did
know
give
not
that, right?
get
whenever
to that I have like, ooh,
I give Miss Ella my contact information and she can give it to you
okay.
and whatever I can be of service with just
We're
Because
gonna bring you
your
back for
insight
sure.
has been
okay.
priceless tonight. I
Yeah,
mean,
it really
Yeah.
and I
has.
thought I had to really study this case and research
Yeah.
so many different things. So to have this conversation with you tonight and still give me, literally 2 pages of notes and questions for me now to go back and research, it's just like it's phenomenal. And
I
I
love
just
it.
want to
I love
better
it. I love
understand,
it.
the community, the police
Yeah.
forces, and what we can do to make a difference.
Yeah, yes, that's
So,
that's about. See, let's take conversations like this for all of us to get together and put our
mhm,
brains together. I don't know everything. I don't claim or even pretend to do, but what I do know, I would like. I don't mind sharing it with anybody. It ain't doing me no good if I know it and not sharing it. So.
So tell
absolutely.
everybody where they can find you, Frida, just in case people want to follow you.
Well, I'm on all Facebook, YouTube, Instagram at She Is Heisenberg. It's after my two favorite shows, Breaking Bad and She Hate Me. I just put those two shows together to make my
Oh
tag.
my goodness. I never would have
Yeah,
thought that.
yeah, She Is Heisenberg, and
Okay.
Breaking Bad is my favorite television show. I
I
watch
love
at
that.
least.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen that other one you mentioned, so
Oh,
I'm
She
taking
Hate
note of
Me.
that too. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've never
it's
heard of
by
that one.
Spike Lee. It did not come one of his top movies, but my favorite movie from him because it has so many hidden messages in it. It's called
Okay.
She Hate Me, and there's no S on the hate. She Hate Me. But both
Okay.
of
Wow, I
those,
gotta check that out. I've
yes,
never, yeah.
yeah. So she is Heisenberg on YouTube, and it's therapeutic for me. That's why I do it. Is literally just therapy. I literally do journal. I'm in therapy every Monday at 1 p.m. and I take my journal entries and just make videos out of them. And then when I had used a popular, I can't even remember what song, and it gave me a strike. I said, "What is this for?" Because I was used to social. I was new to social media. They said you can't just use people's songs, and I'm like, "Well, all these other videos get." I said, "Well, I'm gonna learn how to make my own songs." So I just
So
went to
tell me
AI.
how much you would charge me, Frida, to do a song for the Ella Johnson show. Just tell
Well,
me how much that will
well,
cost.
I do songs for. I've done songs. I do songs for churches, for birthdays. But the reason why
Really?
I don't charge is because of my traumatic brain injury. I don't want to, because if I charge you, that means you're gonna tell me when you want it. So what I do, as I tell people, just give me a tip or a donation, and
Okay.
that
Fair.
way I can take my time and just do
Okay.
it. Because I get anxiety when I have to rush and just do something. But
Oh
yeah,
no, no. I take your time because I
it's
know your
a
story, and that's why
thank you. Yeah, you
I
do
was
know my
very
story.
we didn't get a chance to really get into your
Mm,
story,
yeah,
but we will next time.
yeah,
We
yeah,
will definitely do
yeah.
that. And I
Okay.
just want to be able to do that because you said it was therapeutic for you
Yeah, it
to be able
is.
to do this. And
Mhm,
that will just represent what this
mm,
show stands behind
mm,
is being an advocate for people that have
yeah,
gone through certain things. And I
yeah,
want to make sure to acknowledge that in my
mm,
song, that
yeah.
this was
Okay,
by one of my guests who
okay.
blah 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 blah, who went
Right.
through, that type of thing.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
My
You
appreciate
last
just.
question. Oh, I'm sorry. Go
Mhm.
ahead.
I was about to say, you just tell me what type, what your favorite music genre, or who you like, and what you want in the song. Then yeah, I can do it, and I've always
okay,
just
we'll get
tell
together.
people, yeah.
We'll get together on it. You had something to say, Stephanie?
Yeah, so a T song, is that available on all of your platforms now? Can we just go to
Yeah.
your page and be able to share that song?
Yes,
Or is there
ma'am.
a
Yes.
certain link to it we should
No,
use?
it's public. It's public on just She Is Heisenberg.
Hmm.
But it's public. It's on
Oh yeah, we'll have
Facebook.
it posted. We'll go ahead and
Yeah.
Okay.
post it.
Yeah, I
That was
definitely want to share
lovely. I
that on all
enjoyed
my
it.
platforms.
Thank
It
you.
was lovely. I
Okay.
enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Doris says that now, Mr. T, she was very informative on procedures. So it looks,
Thank you.
the guests really, that's why
Thank
everybody was
you.
quiet.
Because when you were talking, I mean, we've been, because Stephanie and I talk about this, but we're like talking back and forth, guessing, like maybe it was this, and here you come with it, like there it is, and I'm just like, that's what we needed. We needed you.
I was just
So
trying to imagine myself on scene. That's what I was trying to, because the
yeah,
way y'all like standing around, I just can't imagine myself on scene. No one saw, I was just putting myself there. And that's the stance I look at it, took it from. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm not really sure if I will be back on Sunday or not. I'll chat with Stephanie, see if we
Mhm.
do need to do a show. I have to get myself prepared for my convention, the National
Okay.
Association of Black Journalists convention
So,
in Atlanta
Mm-hmm.
that I will be
okay.
Yes.
attending.
When is that?
That's August 12th through the 16th.
Okay.
But I
Oh,
have to get a lot
I
of
will be
information
here.
together first. Uh,
Cool.
to present myself at this convention. This is something I've always wanted to do, but I
Sweet.
never was able to. And this year, God was able to bless me to be able to go. So
Mhm.
I am excited. I'm looking forward to learning. Who knows? I may run into Roland and
Yeah.
a lot of the people that I absolutely admire in the industry.
Yes.
So I'm
Okay.
looking forward to that, to be able to attend
Yeah.
workshops and learn how to take my show to the
Right.
next level. Because
That's
I started
beautiful.
out doing this because this is just something I do. Now I want to run it like a business and be
Beautiful.
able to provide a service,
Yeah.
with it. So if anybody want to bless a system, just saying. It's so hard
I
for me to
think,
say that, but I'm just gonna
yeah.
say it. If y'all
Yeah.
just say, well, you know what, Ella, here's about $5,000. Go and have yourself a good time. I am
Yeah.
available and open for that.
Yeah,
My
that's
hands are open.
beautiful.
Let the
That's
Lord use you, is what I say.
yes.
But no, listen, I
Mhm.
do. If I don't come back Sunday, I would appreciate you guys' prayers. I am going to go ahead and travel there, drive there, and be there. And just pray that God will use what He has imparted in me to be a blessing to so many people. Because this show is not about me, it's way
Yeah.
bigger than me. This
Yeah.
is about bringing people here who feel safe to tell their story. Because the way we do it, y'all know how when you go to church and they say, you may
Mhm.
come in one way, but you're
You'll
going to leave
leave.
differently.
Yeah.
That's what the platform that God put in my heart to have for people, is that they feel
Mhm.
safe when they come here. How did you feel the first time you came to the show and told your story, Frida? It
I
was a long
felt
time ago.
I know. I felt like it was a open. I felt welcome and open. That I
Yeah.
could free. There was no restrictions. Is what I liked, and I felt love because I remember it was the first time I was on the show. Where it was just sisters, just black women, and
Yeah.
because I had been on other shows. I did a show with Rashad Ritchie from Indisputable, you know.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah.
You okay?
Uh, so
Indisputable.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's in Atlanta, so hopefully you'll be able to see him.
Hopefully. Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, so I just felt it felt home. I felt comfortable. I remember talking to my mom about it afterwards, and that was your show, the only show I talked to her about. The others I just said, hey, I'm gonna do this show, but so I appreciate that, and I do believe that your vision and your ministry is gonna help a lot of people. I really do.
Yeah. To God be the
It
glory.
already has, and it's going to continue to do that.
Absolutely.
I think
Absolutely.
we need to pray our way out tonight. And I definitely want you to pray us out. Then once this prayer is over, we're gonna say good night to you guys. Frida always leaves me speechless, and she didn't fail this time. Andrea Felton, thank you, Andrea. Appreciate that.
Mm.
Liz says, "Hi, Ella. Hi, honey. How are you?" Okay, so give us a prayer, guys, and then we're gonna head out of here for tonight. Go ahead, Miss Frida.
Thank you, God, for bringing us here together today. Thank you, God, for T. Thank you for his life. Thank you for his journey. Thank you for his family, his sisters, his mother, his children. Thank you for the impression he left upon them. Thank you for Monrovia. Thank you for the sheriff department, the police department. And dear God, we come to you asking you for forgiveness in our hearts, and asking you for the family of these tonsils to find forgiveness in their heart. We asking you for justice, for mercy, for grace, for love, for joy, and for peace to come upon the city of Monrovia. And we asking for justice to be done in your name. You know, they falsely accused Jesus on the cross, but it wasn't all in vain. And we know that the false accusations that were made will not be in vain against our brother T. And we know that at the end, that the truth and justice will rise and justice will be done, and give the citizens of Monrovia a united front for us all to come together to make sure that T's life is not going in vain. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Guys, the reason we have to do that, because in all of this, God has to get the glory. He has to,
Amen.
Absolutely.
So we want to say that. We're going to get out of here, say good night to you guys. And I don't know if I'll be back Sunday, but if I do, I'll see you right here, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30
Thank
p.m.
you again,
Central.
Freda.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
God
guys.
bless
Good
you.
night, everybody. Thank
Good night,
you.
Ella.
Stephanie, you're the bomb, girl, when it comes to
Yes.
research. I was talking about
Hey, look,
I learned from her.
I just want to be able to, be educated
you're
on
the
something.
bomb.
I don't like to be hit with a surprise, and so I just,
She is all over it. I'm telling you, she's gonna be texting
we
me
are
all
here
night.
together.
Ella, look what I found. Ella, look what and I'm already watching. Girl, I'm already watching Bold and Beautiful because that's what I'm getting ready to do right now. All right, guys, y'all have a good night.
All right, take care.
All
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Ella Johnson Show. We'll see you next time.
We are supporters of the Ella Johnson Show. We live in South Korea. We have been watching Ella Johnson Show for like a year now. And we love her show. Her show is very inspirational, motivational, and educational.
If you would like to be a guest on the Ella Johnson Show, send an email to theellajohnsonshow@gmail.com or send a text message to 407-334-6997.
We love Ella Johnson Show.